Vice President Kashim Shettima advocates global cooperation for sustainable food systems. Northern leaders pass vote of confidence in President Tinubu's administration. Emotional scene as Pengasin stretched out to patients, pays medical bills in 2 hospitals. Hello and welcome to Late Evening News on NTA News24. We're live in Abuja. I am Mina Daniels. Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on global stakeholders to deepen cooperation with Nigeria in rebuilding sustainable and inclusive food systems across Africa. He made the call during a panel on country perspectives, government-led strategies and regional frameworks during the UN Food Systems Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jibrila reports.
Nigeria has designed a comprehensive strategy to address food security challenges, which mostly impact vulnerable citizens in conflict-affected regions. Vice President Kashim Shettima said President Tinubu's bold national strategy, including the declaration of a state of emergency on food security and the rollout of systemic reforms, was aimed at transforming agriculture into a resilient, youth-driven, market-based engine of economic growth.
Our agriculture should be market-driven, not about handouts. And the whole mantra is on increase in yield, because entrepreneurial capitalism is embedded in the very psyche of the average Nigerian. But what they are lacking is the wherewithal to place them on Jeffrey Sachs' pace ladder of development. And the whole mantra is on increase in yield.
Meanwhile, on the margins of the summit, Vice President Kashim Shettima held a high-level bilateral meetings with top executives of key global food and development agencies, including the Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization, President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the Executive Director of the World Food Programme. He sought the organization's partnership in reviving the Lake Chad region, enhancing all-year farming, and supporting the Green Revolution project of the federal government. The organizations pledged continued commitment to work with the Nigerian government in all areas needed, such as school feeding, nutrition, and support for displaced communities. Abdulrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
The Federal Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development has kicked against a bill seeking to relocate the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau from the ministry to be domiciled under the presidency. The ministry's position was given at a public hearing by the Joint House Committees on Aviation and Special Duties on the bill to amend the NSIB Act. National Assembly correspondent Mitaira Ikbem reports on this and other engagements in the Parliament.
The NSIB Act 2022 transitioned the Accident Investigation Bureau from investigating air accidents to a multimodal transportation investigation body now known as the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. The thrust of the NSIB Amendment Bill is to move the operations of the Bureau to the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, but the public hearing triggers diverse reactions.
By putting them under the Ministry of Aviation, is limiting their ability to work.
Dislocating the Bureau from the Aviation Ministry will severely erode this synergy, disrupt coordination, and create bureaucratic gaps that could delay responses to critical safety events.
The transfer of the NSIB to the presidency aligns with global best practices. It is also an opportunity to strengthen the Bureau's independence.
Once it is situated within the executive arm of government, you cannot get the independence we're talking about. It is only the law that can make it really stand as an independent body.
The Joint Committee's decision on the bill will be guided by expert opinions. At another public hearing by the House Committee on Federal Polytechnics and Higher Technical Education, lawmakers supported the establishment of vocational institutions to engage the teeming youth population.
That will empower technicians and mid-level personnel. We will act as effective catalysts for rapid industrialization and development.
To ensure that our younger ones acquire skills which they can use either within or outside the country.
The proposed institutions are the Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skills Acquisition, Zaki Biam, Benue State, the National Institute for Technical and Vocational Education, Bogoro, Bauchi State, and the Federal Vocational and Skills Acquisition College, Ilaro, Ogun State. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The two-day interactive session held by Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation in Ariwa House, Kaduna, has passed a vote of confidence in the Tinubu administration. The communique equally called for an increase in economic and security reforms to sustain the gains recorded within 2 years. Salihu Abdullahi Wanara reports on the highlights of the two-day government citizens engagement.
The NSA. The Director General of the Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation read the communique.
In conclusion, the summit concluded that Northern Nigeria acknowledges and commends the administration's high performance in fulfilling its electoral promises in many areas and also appreciates subsisting challenges. Participants call for more commitment to transparency, fairness, and equity as elements that would foster national unity and sustenance of our democracy. It further calls for continued collaboration among government, citizens, and all stakeholders.
Earlier, the second day was equally engaging as questions were raised by participants and answers provided by the federal government delegation on matters of governance, particularly on infrastructure.
Kaduna State, 52.7 kilometers. Plateau, 88.4 kilometers. Bauchi, 229 kilometers.
Identified schools by the most deplorable states, 3 in each senatorial district, with the intention of turning them around.
So if you concentrate in the northern Nigeria, the 3 zones, northeast, northwest, and north central, you have a number of projects, apart from these legacy projects we are talking about.
The intention of the government then was to build 1,000 houses in each of these to the areas affected by banditry.
41% of those in the capital city has been completed, and many out of them were being commissioned.
Governance flourishes when it is inclusive. No president, no governor, no minister thrives alone.
Participants demand more of such engagements.
Interfacing with the representatives of Northern Nigeria on this platform has been an eye-opener to most of us.
And we truly understand the activities, the benefits, and then the advantage of the Asiwaju, who is equally the Jagaban Bargu government. A lot has been done, but they don't talk much.
This is a giant stride taken by the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's trying to close the gap.
Congratulations to all the people who came. You can imagine, military men seated, Air Force are seated, ministers are seated, and they're not even tired. That is what we want. That is sincerity, and that is commitment.
With the increase in knowledge about the activities of government so far, the event demonstrates the power of effective communication as an inevitable tool in propagating government policies. In Kaduna, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
The governor of Kogi State, Ahmed Usman Ododo, has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for showing unparalleled commitment towards the completion of the Abuja-Lokoja road reconstruction, saying his action has demonstrated his unwavering determination to fix the nation's infrastructure deficit. The governor, who made this known while inspecting a section of the road at Kotun Karafi in Kogi State, said the president represents a coalition of excellence. This is our own coalition. This is what our president is doing, and we are grateful to him. This is development, he said.
This was a road a minister in this country adjudged not to be economically viable. And today, we thank God, Mr. President saw reason, and the minister reasoned with him that this road is economically viable as far as this country is concerned, because this is the only road that connects the north and south. This is one of the coalition. Yes, sir. Yes, we are talking about coalition.
The governor also commended the Works Minister, David Umahi, for the quality of job on the road. It was an emotional scene at the Karachi and Buhari General Hospitals as patients and caregivers expressed deep relief with the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasin, through its foundation, who visited the facilities, paid off patients' medical bills, and donated funds to support the hospitals. Joseph Otsen reports that the primary beneficiaries were critical cases involving patients who could not afford the costs of treatment.
Benjamin Musa is perhaps the happiest father right now. Just a moment earlier, he was preparing to leave the Buhari General Hospital in despair. His pregnant wife needed an emergency operation, but he couldn't afford the bill.
I told them to give me some time. Let's see how it goes. If she can't put to bed. On my way going, they call me back, saying there's people that are ready to help and do everything for me and my wife.
Musa's family is just one of about 30 beneficiaries of the humanitarian intervention by Pengasin Foundation.
We came here and I noticed that she was not breathing normal.
It's the BP just go up.
Officials from the Oil and Gas Workers Union visited the Karachi and Buhari hospitals, engaging directly with patients and caregivers to identify those in critical need of support, and paid over 5.7 million naira in bills and provided additional financial support to the facilities.
With a lot of rural patients, rural women and children and all that, when they come, they don't even have the resources to pay.
And we'll make sure by God's grace, we'll follow it up, all those people will be clear and they will be discharged.
We have even other general hospitals we have set aside to visit and do similar thing like this, so that we can reach out to Nigerians.
Pengasin says the next stop is Benue State, where similar assistance will be extended to hospitals and internally displaced persons camps, bringing renewed hope to many in desperate need. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
This is the late evening news at 11 on NTA News24. More reports after the break.
It's engaging, it's refreshing, and impacting. Are you interested in contributing to the Nigerian project? Are you keen on adding your voice to the making of the Nigeria of our dream? Are you willing to be part of the new tribe of Nigeria that are sold on doing the right thing always? Then join the conversation every Saturday by 5 p.m. on Impact Nigeria on NTA News24. It's a live interactive discussion program that focuses on values, reorientation, and nation building. Join our team of passionate Nigerians as they dissect key ethical issues that impact Nigeria and Nigerians. Be part of our program live and via our social media platforms. Saturdays, 5 p.m. and repeat broadcast Sundays, 1:03 p.m. Impact Nigeria, coming soon on NTA News24. Join us.
Welcome back. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives in the Federal Health Institution sector has commenced a 7-day nationwide warning strike. Haman Jabani reports that the Nigerian Medical Association has also issued a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government after its emergency delegates meeting.
The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives had on July 14, 2025, issued a 15-day ultimatum to the federal government demanding immediate intervention to prevent a total shutdown of nationwide of healthcare services. The strike will affect 74 federal hospitals and primary healthcare centers. The industrial action, which has paralyzed services in federal medical centers, teaching hospitals, and specialist hospitals, is in protest over issues bordering on poor remuneration, staff shortages, unpaid allowances, and unsafe working conditions. The union is asking for readdress on some of the long-standing demands, which include the upward review of shift allowance, uniform allowance adjustment, and separate salary structure for nurses, increased call duty allowance, mass employment of nurses, and the establishment of a nursing department in the Federal Ministry of Health, among others.
Peradventure, if nothing happens within the 7 days, of course, we are going to come back to work and then re-strategize, continue negotiation. If peradventure still negotiations does not yield anything positive, our national body will now issue a 21 days ultimatum. And if nothing is done within the 21 days, it's going to be indefinite strike.
Some relatives of patients speak on how the strike is affecting medical care.
So if peradventure there is need, an emergency for a nurse to give an injection to a patient and the nurse is not there, you start scouting for a doctor that is not readily available.
I was supposed to go theater today to do my hand, but because of the strike, they said, no, we can't go.
The experience is not good. We're calling on the government to try and do something about it. This is National Hospital.
In a related development, the Nigerian Medical Association, after its emergency delegate meeting, issued a 21 notice of total and indefinite strike in line with the relevant labor laws, effective from 27 July 2025, if government failed to comprehensively address its demands. The body is optimistic of a favorable response from the federal government to avert the impending industrial disharmony in the health sector. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
The National Identity Management Commission has announced the successful migration of all telecommunications operators to its upgraded National Identification Number Verification Platform, NINAUTH. A statement from the Commission explains that the migration now enables telcos to offer uninterrupted NIN verification services to their subscribers. The statement adds that the new platform, developed by NIMC, enhances data protection and gives Nigerians greater control over their personal information. It also provides seamless identity verification and easier access to digital services. NIMC therefore urges Nigerians to direct complaints related to new SIM registration, SIM swaps, SIM migration, and welcome back SIMs to their telecom providers for prompt resolution. The Commission says its verification and authentication platforms remain active and accessible to all users. The Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire and Immigration Services Board has raised alarm over the activities of fraudsters posing as recruitment agents for the ongoing enlistment into Nigeria's 4 paramilitary services. In a statement by Secretary to the Board, Major General Abdul Malik Jibril, retired, the Board warns that no payment is required at any stage of the application process. It stressed that the only authorized portal for the recruitment exercise is https:/recruitment.cdcfib.gov.ng and urged applicants to disregard any other platform. Security agencies, the statement adds, have been alerted to apprehend the individuals and syndicates involved in the scam. The board advises all prospective candidates to stay vigilant and avoid falling prey to fraudulent schemes. The acting executive chairman of the Federal Character Commission, Kayode Oladele, has pledged the commission's commitment to working closely with the Police Service Commission to ensure adherence to federal character principles in the upcoming Nigerian police force recruitment. Oladele made this assurance during a strategic meeting with Chairman of the Police Service Commission, DIG Hashimu Argungu retired, on preparations for the recruitment exercise. In his remarks, DIG Argungu emphasized the importance of equitable representation, appealing for the FCC's collaboration to guarantee that all states and demographic groups are fairly represented in the recruitment process.
Is not only a constitutional mandate, but a practical strategy to ensuring peace, security, and social harmony. When communities see themselves represented in the security agencies that serve them, trust is built, cooperation is enhanced.
In line with the international law, where we drive our own human recruitment and promotions based on bakers, if there is something. So you can't come and tell me you are taking application under the table. You keep. You only inform your brothers and sisters. You didn't inform the whole general of Nigeria. It's corruption.
This is the late evening news at 11 on NTA News24. Time now for a recap of our top stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima advocates global cooperation for sustainable food systems. Northern leaders pass vote of confidence in President Tinubu's administration. Emotional scene as Pengasin stretch out to patients pays medical bills in 2 hospitals.
This is NTA News24.
Sultan of Sokoto and President Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, has called for the cessation of the ongoing hostilities in Gaza, which has left numerous women and children starving to death, with the numbers rising daily. The Sultan, who doubles as co-president of the Religion for Peace World Council, was speaking against the scary statistics published by the World Health Organization at the World Council meeting held in the ancient city of Istanbul, known as Constantinople in Turkey. Correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
The meeting, which takes place every 5 years, last held in Indau, Germany, and had about 60 countries in attendance, with faithfuls of numerous religions like the Hindu, Baha'i, Catholics, Anglicans, Jewish, and Muslims, as well as Orthodox Coptic Church in attendance. The Patriarch of the city of Constantinople, Bartholomew I, gave a keynote address espousing the desirability for a global alliance of conscience and restoration of the original value systems embedded in all religions and shared by all humanity in order to achieve peace and social harmony in the world. The 2 main sessions featured extensively examination of the debt burden on low-income societies, as well as a session of faith, dignity, and artificial intelligence, with the attendant concerns of its effect on various cultures and religions. During his presentation within the second session of the debt crisis in underprivileged societies, Sultan Saad examined the impact of huge debt burdens on the economies of developing countries, its consequences, as well as ramifications, and proceeded to recommend immediate debt cancellation for low-income group countries all over the world in order to tackle the wealth imbalance, abolish past exploitative policies, as well as reduce poverty by equitable redistribution of wealth all over the world.
And then whatever money accrued from such reliefs must be used, I say must be used to develop our communities, so that people will live a better life. Minimal life, somebody who wants to live is just to live.
The two sessions witnessed robust contributions from technocrats, religious groups, gender advocates, scholars, as well as royalty. At the end of the council meeting, 9-point set of resolutions read by the Secretary General Dr. Francis Courier were unanimously agreed upon by the august body, among which was the resolution to call on war leaders to halt the genocide in Gaza immediately. The Sultan, who is the President, Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs in Nigeria, also commended the federal, state and local government councils for their consistent support and efforts in the areas of health and education in the country. Religion for Peace World Council is an inter-religious, interfaith organization of the United Nations with its headquarters based at the United Nations building in New York. The council's next General Assembly meeting is scheduled for Abu Dhabi in 2030. Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Member House of Representatives from Kwara State, Abdul Karim Olawi, has pledged to preserve the legacies of the late former Minister of Communications, Cornelius Olatunji Adebayo. This was when he received members of the Omo Ibile Ibomina Forum, Abuja chapter, on advocacy visit at the National Assembly complex. The group, led by Dele Gege, acknowledged the patriotism of the late Adebayo, who served the nation meritoriously at the federal and state levels, saying he will be remembered for commitment to grassroots development and advancement of the Yoruba race.
He left a legacy to some of us that we can build on. The opportunity I have now to serve in the National Assembly, I always make reference to such an achievement of Chief Adebayo.
He's not the type of person that will abandon you in trouble. So we should really, that's why we're appreciating the man, who he is, who he was, to also tell other politicians after him to emulate his good deeds.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, receives a high-level delegation from the ECOWAS network of electoral commissions at the force headquarters in Abuja. The delegation, led by Mrs. Devieta Brown Lansana, chairperson of the National Elections Commission of Liberia, visits on a follow-up dialogue on the implementation of electoral policies ahead of Nigeria's 2027 general elections. She states that the meeting focuses on key issues raised in the 2023 general elections and the alignment of strategies for effective implementation of its recommendations.
We want to hear from you how you are doing, so that this informs our research and our final report on this assessment mission.
The IGP highlights the police force's central role in the electoral process before, during and after elections, emphasizing the force's commitment to neutrality, professionalism, and the protection of democratic values.
I also want to let you know that we normally engage in pre-election training for all our officers that are to be deployed for election duty. And during this pre-election training, we emphasize neutrality and impartiality of our officers to ensure that the elections are conducted fairly. We also emphasize providing level playing ground for all the candidates in the election. We ensure that we maintain law and order after the election.
And that concludes the late evening news at 11 on NTA News 24. Thanks for your company. I am Mina Daniels.